Well, hello everyone, and welcome to AJ102 Introduction to Criminal Justice and Law Enforcement Online. My name is Tony Farrar, and I am going to be your instructor for this semester. Tonight's video lecture is going to be the syllabus review, and because we have a lot of information to cover, let's go ahead and just jump right into the review. So if you would go ahead and just follow along, we'll go ahead and get started. So we're at the top of the page of the syllabus. Again, the course is AJ102. It's Introduction to Criminal Justice and Law Enforcement. The section number is 3504, and of course we are in the spring 2020 semester. Man, time is just flying by. Anyway, right below that is my personal information. I am located on the Menifee campus. I have my email address there for you along with my office phone number. I am available, or I answer my Twitter account at Professor Farrar. If that's the way that you want to communicate, that's fine. I also have a couple of interesting links there. The first one is to the MSJC Criminal Justice Club Facebook. So if you're interested in joining a club or hanging out with people that find aspects of criminal justice interesting, or that's their degree path, or you just want to be part of this club because you think it sounds cool, check out their Facebook and see what's going on and get yourself involved. It's really kind of a cool thing. Next, I have a link to the career education website where you can find a lot of information on career opportunities, internships, a lot of information on counseling. If you need to see a counselor regarding a career path, or just your, what courses to take and when in order to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve, that's a great resource for everybody as well. As mentioned, again, I'm on the Menifee campus. I typically have office hours that are the same on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So first of all, I was in the 900 building and my office was in room 961. However, I have moved offices. I am now in the remodeled or renovated 3000 building, which is just offset the campus just a little bit. And my new office number is 3003. But I am on campus and I have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12:30 to 1:45, and then again from 3:30 to 4:45. As far as an online class goes, I am always available to you all the time. Simply email me and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Almost always within about 12 hours or so, but usually less. I'm actually pretty good at that. However, I am online and monitoring Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. So should you need any assistance, please get a hold of me then. And sometimes, if need be, we can set up a confer Zoom meeting or some type of online chat or something like that if you do need that type of assistance. I am also available at other times by appointment, and email is the best way to get in contact with me. If you do email me, please do me a favor. I've got some examples here for you. Place AJ102 3504 Introduction to Criminal Justice and your name in the subject line of the email. The example I've prepared for you for our AJ102-3504 Introduction to Criminal Justice. And the reason I'm asking you to go to all this trouble is because of the fact that I teach so many courses and a lot of online classes that it really is the best way for me to make sure that I know who you are quickly and I can address your issue, get your information back to you as soon as possible. If you just put I'm in your AJ102 class, I might have 4 of those. And then I have to search to figure out which class you're in. So you can see it would really help me out if you made the email line just a little bit more identifiable. So thank you for that. Also, all emails should be from your MSJC email account. Please do not use your personal email. If you are requested to submit any type of written assignment in Canvas, and in this course you will be, please do me a favor, submit it in Microsoft Word. If you send an assignment or a document in another word processing format like WordPerfect or WordPad, or even through a third-party software like Google Docs or something like that, there's no guarantee that I can open it. And if I can't open it, I can't read it. And if I can't read it, I can't grade it. So please do me a favor and do that. Now, if you have, let's say, WordPerfect, but you PDF the document, that might work. So if that's something that you have, you can send me a test run, and I'll go ahead and check it to make sure that I can actually read it. So if you PDF it, that's great. But do me a favor again, don't send it through Google Docs where I need a password or things to log into, because basically you just need to upload the document into the assignment area, and I will show you how to do that in just a little bit. Finally, if you do not know how to set up your email or your notifications in your electronic device, etc., please contact the college help desk for assistance, because you want to be able to receive all the notifications that are sent out, whether it be via email or in fact Canvas announcement. So the syllabus itself, we're at the bottom of the page now, is what I consider to be a living document, meaning it could be subject to change during the semester. I typically don't do that, but I don't like to never say never, if you will. If I do make any changes, you will be made aware of the changes when they occur in the form of an email, but more likely in the form of an announcement through Canvas, which is another reason for you to make sure that you have set up your electronic device, whatever one you're going to be using, as your primary device to be able to receive notifications when these changes are made. If in fact you do have any questions about the course anytime, please feel free to email me direct, or you can post your question in a cool general discussion area in the course Canvas called the Donut Shop. Yes, how appropriate is that name? Anyway, I will do my best to send out reminders on due dates and things like that, but please consider or note that all assignments and due dates are listed in the syllabus, and it is your responsibility to read and follow them and keep track of them. It is not my responsibility to remind you of tests, quizzes, or any term paper, since all that information is within the syllabus. But again, I will send out reminders and do my best to keep on top of that, but use your electronic device and set things up the way that you like it, to where you're able to keep track of due dates. So what is this class that you're enrolled in? Well, this course is basically an introduction to the history and philosophy of law enforcement, and we'll look at various agencies that are involved in the criminal justice process, from the detection of crime to parole offenders, to evaluating modern police services and different career opportunities. So with that being said, it's going to be kind of a general overview of a lot of different aspects of policing. So it's going to be an exciting class. It's very, very informative. I think you're going to learn a lot. I'm really excited to teach it, and I hope you're excited to be here. Next, I have a list of the program learning outcomes. These are the outcomes set forth by the Administration of Justice program. I also have a list of those course learning outcomes, those things that upon successful completion of this class, you will be able to do. And that's kind of exciting in itself. And I also have a list of the course learning objectives, and I'll let you look at all of these at your leisure, because I want to move on a little bit and get to an important thing, the textbook. So here's your textbook for the semester. The title is Introduction to Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice. It's the 12th edition, and the publisher is Cengage. Now here's my 2-minute spiel on the book. I have a lot of students, both face-to-face and online, that always come to me and say, Professor Farrar, do I really need the textbook? So here's my pitch. We have basically 14 chapters, and then I'm going to add one, so 15, to really look at the history and development and all the aspects of policing. That's just a lot of information. Because of that, it really is going to be difficult for me to cover everything I need to cover in each weekly lecture. And I'll show you what the audio lectures look like. It's kind of like what you're listening to right now. I'll provide you a PowerPoint and an audio lecture. But anyway, it's hard to squeeze all of that content in there. So in order to fill in the blanks or fill in those gaps, it's going to help you if you could read the corresponding chapter to add context to a lot of the things that we're talking about, and hopefully that makes sense to you. There's a lot of different definitions and terms and things like that. So my pitch is that you either pick up the textbook in its paperback form or even an e-version. But I really do think it's important that you get the textbook so you can follow along, so you can use it to study, but most importantly, that you can use the information to fill in some of the parts that we just didn't have time to cover in the 60-minute lecture that you're going to get every single week. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and move on. So next up is the California Penal Code. Now, the Penal Code isn't the primary textbook for this class, so you don't have to have it, but we are going to be referring to this book from time to time. Again, if you don't have a copy, that's okay, because you can access the information online. And this will help you as we discuss a lot of different, codes and sections and penalties and things like that. So I've got a link to a website called legalinfo.gov. And this website will have all of the California codes that you will need to research or look at that we're going to be discussing throughout the semester. So this link right here will take you to where you need to go. So now let's look at how do I check into the class, or what's the importance of the course check-in. So this course is going to open on Monday, January 13th at 8 a.m. Please make sure that you check in using discussion board number 1 as your official check-in. Also, as part of the check-in procedure, you're going to need to complete a short 10-question syllabus quiz. So hopefully you're watching this review first before you go ahead and do the syllabus quiz. But you're going to have until Sunday, January 19th at 11 p.m. to complete this process, meaning both parts. So again, just kind of review. The course is set up to run in basically weekly or 6-day modules. So every week, the module is going to open up on a Monday at 8 a.m. and it'll close the following Sunday at 11 p.m. So for week 1, and I'll show you this, what it looks like in just a little bit, you need to complete the check-in process, which is 2 parts. It's the discussion board 1 and the syllabus quiz. Now, the reason I stress this is that failing to complete both parts of this check-in process will in fact result in you being dropped from the class. So that's the importance of the course check-in. Some of the guidelines for the class, well, this is a somewhat fast-paced course with a lot of reading and information that's going to be provided to you weekly. And because of that, you really need to keep up with the readings. Now, don't simply rely on the PowerPoint lectures to get you through the class. Some of the legal terms might be just a little bit difficult at first because you don't know them, so you may not understand them initially. Therefore, you're going to need to read the textbook chapters to fully understand them, and as I said before, to add context to the subject matter. So hopefully that's another quick pitch for the book. In some cases, you might even have to look up a word or a term on the internet, the penal code or in a law dictionary. But at the end of the day, if you have a problem with any concept or any term or anything else, please let me know, and I will discuss it in our course Canvas discussion area. While we're going to have discussion board questions, etc., there's going to be a separate designated area called the donut shop, very appropriate name, of course, where you can post any general questions, and students can answer your question if they have the answer, or I will jump on and answer that. But chances are, if you have a question about something, someone else has the same question. So go ahead and let me know what it is, and I'll throw it out there, and we can make sure that everybody is on the same page. So with that being said, it's not a super easy class, and it is going to require some work on your part if you want to do well, and I suspect that you do. However, the class can be very rewarding from all of the knowledge that you're going to gain, because again, we're going to cover a lot of information in this semester. So let's take a minute now and talk about some expectations that I have of you. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be doing, but I have 7 basic expectations. The first one is reading the required materials. That means reviewing or looking at the PowerPoints, looking at the lecture notes that might be posted, or reading an article, or reading your textbook chapter. Number 2, viewing the weekly lecture videos like the PowerPoint lectures, or the case study videos, or the discussion board videos. Number 3, participating in what I like to call thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes, so I'll go ahead and just move on. Number 4, completing the online and timed quizzes. Number 5, completing online and timed exams. Number 6, completing the case study. And number 7, completing the midterm writing assignment. And we'll go into each one of these in a little bit more detail in just a couple of minutes. But what I really want you to know is that, and here we are on the page, that failure to participate in the discussion boards, or missing a series of quizzes or exams, or failing to turn in assignments, or missing a combination of these activities may cause you to be dropped from the class. So please do yourself a favor, keep track of all the due dates, and make sure that you're setting time aside to get your coursework done. And if you're asking yourself, well, how do I know if I'm ready for an online class? Well, first of all, if you've taken an online course before, especially one of mine, you kind of know how they flow, and you are ready if you've already taken one, so that's okay. But if you haven't taken one, I put a couple links in here where you can go to find out what is really expected of you as far as an online student goes, or if you think you're ready. So the first link right here is a link to the college online learning page. And here you will find information again that helps you understand, or helps you evaluate or assess yourself, if you will, and to show you what is expected of an online student, even though I've already given you some of my own expectations. Now, the second link below here, this is to the same page, but to a series of video tutorials and other related information. So like how to log into your course Canvas, there'll be a video for that. How to navigate through Canvas, there'll be a video for that. How to set up my electronic device to receive notifications, there'll be a video for that. So these are really helpful videos to help you kind of get yourself ready for an online learning environment if you haven't experienced it already. Now, finishing up with some of the online things, we'll talk a little bit about technology and some of the functions that are typically used in Canvas. So you are responsible for your computer equipment and internet connection independent of the campus, meaning at your house or wherever you're at. Okay. However, you do need to plan your coursework to be able to accommodate any type of computer-related issue or other problem. So I guess in essence, what we're trying to say here is that just because you have an issue on your end doesn't necessarily means that we're going to extend deadlines, etc. Now, if the college Canvas goes down or the website goes down and you can't access assignments, okay, sure, we understand that, and we're going to give extra time to make sure that you can complete things. But I'm asking you to have a backup plan. And one of the important things, again, and you'll hear me say it a couple of times tonight, is not waiting until the last minute, the last hour to do your assignments, and then all of a sudden you have a computer problem, because one of the questions I will ask you is, why did you wait basically 6 days and then you have a computer problem and when you really could have done the assignment a couple of days ago? So it's up to you to kind of plan and set time aside however you think it works best for you, but I am asking you to just make sure that you have a backup plan. So with that, let's talk about a couple of the functions that are typically used in Canvas, especially if you haven't been in an online environment before. So first of all, and we're at the top, for you to be successful in this course, I suggest you check your Canvas and your notifications a minimum of 2 times per week. And I would also suggest that once you log into Canvas that you navigate around inside the Canvas course to see where things are at, so you become familiar with how it works. And I'll show you, we'll actually go to the course Canvas at the end of this lecture. So one of the important areas is going to be the modules. And this is where your weekly assignments are going to be. So I will title each module, and some instructors call them units or chapters, but I'm going to title each module so you're going to know exactly which week the information is for. So an example would be Module 1, I will title Week 1. And therefore, Week 1 is going to contain all of the assignments that you need to complete in Week 1. I hope that makes sense. So again, the module is going to contain things like the video lecture and the chapter PowerPoint, if you just want to look at that. Links to videos, articles, exams, quizzes, key terms, other related information. And the goal doing it this way is to make it easy for you to be able to find everything in one area instead of having to click in and out or move all around through the course Canvas. So hopefully that makes sense. Next up is discussions. And this is the area where group discussions are going to occur on different topics. And as I previously mentioned, I will also have a general discussion board for questions titled The Donut Shop, where you can post a question, or you can email me direct if you don't want to post it. And keep in mind in these discussions, and we'll have them weekly, and I'll show you what it looks like in a few, that I may post links to videos or articles or some text inside that discussion area to help you add content before you answer your discussion question, if that makes sense. Next up is going to be announcements. Well, this is where you're going to find announcements for the class, including any information on changes to exams or quizzes, or even upcoming information that I need you to know about. Maybe there's an upcoming career fair, and I'll send that out so everybody knows where it is and what time, etc., because maybe you want to attend. Next up would be the gradebook. This is the area where your grades are going to be and where you can monitor your grades. So here we are in the middle of the page. Now, just a little point of reference, if you submit an assignment and you check your gradebook and you don't see a grade in the little box, first of all, before you panic and email me, do me a favor and make sure that you actually submitted the assignment. If you did, then let me know and we'll figure out what happened. But I really do suggest that weekly you go back and you check your gradebook just to make sure that grades are getting in there. Don't wait 4 or 5 weeks to find out that maybe you forgot to submit something or something got lost or what have you. Extra credit, this is going to be the area where you can find the initial extra credit assignment. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes the extra credit assignment is date specific, meaning that it opens at a certain time and closes at a certain time or date. So make sure that you read the assignment and take note of the dates on when the assignment is available. There's going to be a few different opportunities for extra credit. One, and you'll see in a minute, is built into the syllabus. And then as the semester progresses, I'll throw out a couple of other ones. So don't panic. There'll be some other extra credit opportunities as well. So with all this said now, how are we going to learn some of this stuff? Well, we're going to have the lectures, the PowerPoints, the news articles, the videos, the class participation through the discussions. You'll have the written assignments, quizzes and exams and things like that. So that's, a lot of different things that we're going to be doing this semester. Keep in mind though, you are always welcome to attend any of my in-class presentations from guest speakers. So I will let you know in advance of these dates. So for example, I may have a gang officer in my criminal law class that's on the Menifee campus on Tuesday at 11 o'clock. even though you're an online student, if you would like to attend this, I'll send something out and you're more than welcome to attend to hear that person talk about whatever they're going to talk about. So you'll have a lot of those opportunities available to you as well. So academic support, just to let you know, this is available to all students at the Learning Resource Center on the college or through the help desk. Also, because we're an online course, you have a link to online counseling, and that's built into the modules, and I will show you at the end of the lecture on where that's at. Student code of conduct. What I'm really wanting to talk about here for a moment is something called netiquette. Now, because we will be engaged in discussion boards, I want you to understand that the importance of being professional. Now, netiquette is a kind of network etiquette of cyberspace. In other words, it's a set of rules for how to behave properly while you're online. Now, there's an author by the name of Virginia Shea, and she's defined a lot of these issues and discussed them in one of her books called Netiquette. And if you want, you can view a brief summary of her core rules at the following website, and I have the link to the website right here. Now, it's not going to answer all of your questions, but it's going to provide you with some basic principles to use if you have any questions or run into any dilemmas. My emphasis here on putting this in is to let you know that a lot of the topics that we're going to discuss in these weekly discussions may have a little bit of controversy attached to them. And because of that, please understand that we are all different, thank goodness, and that we all think different, thank goodness. And because of that, we all have opportunities to learn from each other. That's what discussion boards are. It's an opportunity to reflect and maybe consider other opinions and things like that. So I'm asking you to just be professional. Please respond. You can say yes, no, I agree, I don't agree, etc. I just want you to know that because we're all different, we're going to think different, and because we think different, we may even answer different. So let's all be professional, and enough about that. I have a couple of websites built in here that'll help you. There's a link to Cornell Law, which is a really good website that has a lot of different cases in it for research purposes. And then I have a link to the United States Supreme Court website. All right, well, all that was super exciting and super important. Let's get into some other things like exams and quizzes, because I know you've all been holding your breath until we reach this point right here. So the quiz and exam questions are going to come directly from the book. You know, the book that you're going to get. The lecture PowerPoints, the audio lecture, which is the video lecture, same thing, or a designated article or video. Now, each week, every week, you're going to have a reading assignment, a video lecture, kind of like what I'm doing right now, a 10-question quiz covering the chapter, so I know that you're out there, and a discussion question on a topic that also corresponds with the chapter. So that's kind of weekly. Now, throughout the entire course, the semester, you'll have a case study, you'll have 3 chapter exams, and a midterm writing assignment. And also in each module, you're going to have a matching, kind of a self-evaluation exercise covering the key terms. And this is not graded. This particular thing isn't graded, so don't panic. But it'll help you learn the key terms that are there. And you can take the self-evaluation or this practice quiz as many times as you need. And again, I'll show you what the modules look like at the end of our time here. So that's the exams and quizzes, and we'll go over them in a little bit more detail in a second. Discussion boards is next. So discussion boards, as I talked about a moment ago, they're typically reflective in nature. And because of that, they're meant to make you think about a certain subject. Perhaps research it. Maybe even consider other perspectives and then give a response. Now, in this course, you're going to have a total of 16 discussion boards. The first one is going to be the course check-in. It's still a discussion. And then you're going to have 15 discussion questions that correspond with each chapter. Now, I really need you to focus for a second here. There's 14 chapters in the book, and I added a chapter, so that makes 15. Then you have the discussion question, that makes 16. So hopefully all that math makes sense. And math wasn't my favorite subject, but I think I got it. Now, each discussion board is worth up to 10 points. So when responding to discussion boards, make sure that you read the information or watch the video, because remember, I'm going to put some stuff at the front of the discussion board to make you think about it. And then respond with what I like to call a complete, well thought out response. So if you want full point credit for your response, it needs to be at least 5 sentences in length, real full sentences. Also, don't just copy a response from somebody else and then paste it for your own. The more focused and thought out the response, the more points you're going to receive for your post. And again, don't just respond with a "I agree" or similar. Tell me what you really think. With that being said, feel free to respond or comment on another student's post, because that's how we get the discussion going. And in this case, you can say "I agree" or "I disagree," but just not your initial post, if that makes sense to everybody. So that's the discussion part. Remember, I talked about a case study. So your case study for this particular course is going to be on stop and frisk. And I've got all the information here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's listed here. And this is going to be your case study. And it tells you exactly what needs to be done. And when you go inside the course canvas, you'll see exactly, how many pages it needs to be, etc. But this is just telling you about what it is. Okay, so this is the case study for that. Here is your posted extra credit assignment. Remember, there's going to be others, but you have one that's already built in to the syllabus, and it's interviewing a police officer, and it's got all the information in there as well. And there's more built into your course canvas about this assignment, but it covers pretty much most of it. All right, so just a quick review on the times and things like that. Remember, all lectures, PowerPoints, quizzes, exams, discussions, etc. are going to be posted and available on Mondays. Remember, that's when the weeks open at 8 o'clock. All assignments are due then by the following Sunday night at 11. So again, the example that I'll leave you with, this class is going to open on Monday the 13th at 8 a.m. So you're going to have until Sunday the 19th at 11 to complete everything in that week 1 module. And we already know what those 2 assignments are, the graded ones. It's the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, keep in mind, as a general rule, there are no makeup assignments. And the reason for that is because you're going to have 6 days to complete all of the weekly assignments. Therefore, it really is up to you to get that work done. And I know that things happen. We have spouses and boyfriends and girlfriends and friends and family and jobs and stuff. So I know things happen. So emergencies will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Things like jury duty, military deployment, verified medical emergencies, etc. But keep in mind that, again, it is your responsibility to make time for completing the assignments. Please don't wait until the last minute. While I will do my best to remind you of due dates and other information, it really is your responsibility to know what those dates are and to plan accordingly. So let me give you a couple of hints. There's a couple of main issues that I see with online students who experience problems. And the first one is the inability to keep track of due dates. So you need to be able to self-pace and regulate, meaning keeping close track of those due dates and not waiting until the last minute to do the assignments. Set time aside. Make it very routine that on a certain night between a certain time period, you have time to do your stuff. And then second is the thought that because there are a lot of quizzes and a lot of discussion boards, that missing a few of those really won't matter. Well, it really does. Because missing assignments, it adds up quickly. And before you know it, you're behind and you're trying to find a way to catch up. So again, it's really important that you're able to watch the due dates. So let's now look at the grading scale. So here's the grading scale, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Where I really want to move down to are the assignments area. So in this course, you're going to have 3 chapter exams. And your third one is the final. You're going to have, remember, 16 discussion boards. So they're 10 points apiece. You'll have the syllabus quiz. You have your case study. You have your midterm paper. You have your chapter quizzes for a total of 550 points. Now, the above point total is subject to change as I may add or remove an assignment, quiz, or test, etc. I typically don't, but if I do, I will let you know. But more importantly, I want you to know that your final exam is not cumulative, meaning it only covers the chapters that we covered. And I'll show you what that looks like. Basically, in our final exam, you're not going to have anything from these 2 exams. So you know, in essence, there'll be 5 chapters covered in this one. There'll be 5 chapters covered in this one. There'll be 5 chapters covered in that one. Does that make sense? So you're just gonna, your final is gonna consist of the last 5 chapters, nothing from the first 2, because I want you to focus in on those particular things. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Finally, again, just reiterate the extra credit throughout the course. You'll have opportunities to earn more extra credit. Currently, we talked about the 1 extra credit assignment that is already posted in Canvas for you. It's worth up to a total of 30 points, but you'll have other opportunities as well. Some important dates just for you to look at, and I'm going to go past that a little bit and kind of move down because I want to take a moment and talk about the written assignment. So we're at the top of the page talking about the written assignment. So in your Canvas, you will find an instrument called a rubric, and this is a instrument that will show you exactly how your essay is going to be graded. And your midterm writing assignment is going to be on this United States Supreme Court case, Miranda versus Arizona, decided all the way back in 1966. And I've given you basically 6 things that I want you to write about. So I need you to write a minimum of 3 pages. And please take note, 3 pages means 3 full pages, not 2.5, not 2.25. It means 3. And so your 3 pages of written text follows these 6 questions in order. The issue of the case, the facts of the case, the finding or holding of the court, the rationale of the court for their decision, meaning like why did they think that way? Any affiliated cases that were considered. So did the Supreme Court look at any other cases before they made a decision? And then finally, your opinion. And your paper must provide at least 2 references. Again, at least 3 pages long, double-spaced, 12-point font, with a cover sheet. Now, you'll also need a short abstract. The cover sheet, abstract, and the reference page do not count in the page total of 3 pages. So again, you need 3 pages of text. So your essay, in essence, is going to have a title page, a short abstract, which is a paragraph, and I'll show you what one looks like, but it's a small paragraph on its own page that tells you what the essay, what the main point of the essay is. And then you'll have your reference page. So those 3 things don't count in those 3 pages. So hopefully you understand that. The paper must follow APA format, and your paper is going to be graded on content, spelling, grammar, organization, and completeness. Now, to help you out, I'm going to post on Canvas, and here we are right here, an instructional video on how to complete your paper and how to write in APA format. And all information for the midterm paper or that writing assignment can be found in a separate module titled Midterm Essay. If you do need any additional help on the writing assignment, you can go to the library where there are handouts on APA format. And in addition to that, each library has a writing center where they can help you with your paper. I'm also going to post some information on how to upload your paper on Canvas. So finally on the paper, just to let you know, last semester we were fortunate enough to have a student tutor for writing. And this semester we're going to have the same student tutor. So I don't have the schedule yet, but once I get it, I will post it, and I should have that within the first week of the semester that I'll send out an announcement. But the student tutor will be available a couple of days a week, not only on the Menifee campus, but also online. So you will have an opportunity, should you choose to need assistance, or if you do need assistance, that person will be available to help you even more, along with the video that I posted. Everything should be fine. Okay, quickly talking about plagiarism. Remember, copying even a part of a sentence from a text article or a news story in a paper without acknowledging the source, where it came from or who it came from, or using quotes is plagiarism. And even if you copy just a small bit of that, or you just change a couple of words around, it's still plagiarism. So the best rule of thumb is, if you didn't think of it yourself, or if it's not common knowledge, you need to cite it. And the citing is the in-text part, and that corresponds with your reference page, and I'll show you what that looks like. And finally, if in doubt, if you're not sure if you should cite it, go ahead and cite it anyway. So the rest of this I will let you look at your leisure, because I want to finish up with this part showing you what the weeks look like. Okay, so let's look at week 1. Remember, we talked about how these modules or weeks are going to look. So we've got week 1. It opens on Monday the 13th at 8 a.m. It closes on Sunday the 19th at 11 p.m. And this is what needs to be done. We're going to do the syllabus review, which is what we're doing right now. We're going to talk about the different things like quizzes and exams and gradings and discussion boards and etc. And your assignments that are due in this 6-day period are going to be the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. So let's look at chapter 2. So week 2. So if we go to week 2, module 2, week 2, you can call it whatever you want. It's going to open on Monday the 20th at 8 a.m. It'll close, so your assignments are due on Sunday the 26th at 11 p.m. We're going to study chapter 1, the evolution of law enforcement and the criminal justice system. You'll have the PowerPoint and the audio lecture, the video lecture, which is what I kind of what I'm doing right now. There'll be the PowerPoint in the background, just like I'm teaching in class with the voiceover. You'll have a quiz on chapter 1, and you'll have a discussion question. This is week 2. So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's go where there's an extra assignment in. Let's go to week 6. So it kind of splits here, but you can see it. So it's going to open on Monday the 17th. It'll close on Sunday the 23rd. The chapter that we're going to study, because every week we have a chapter, is going to be policing in a 9/11 society. You'll have your audio lecture, your video lecture. You'll have your chapter 5 quiz, because we want to make sure every week has a quiz. Now here though, you've got another assignment added. You have your first chapter exam that's going to cover chapters 1 through 5. So here's a hint. Do the weekly quiz first for the chapter, and then take your chapter exam. And then you still have a discussion board. So every week is a discussion board. Every week is a quiz. So hopefully that makes sense. Go down further. If we look at week 10, pretty much looks the same as the other ones. But here, you see, here's the due date for your midterm writing assignment. Spring break, that's important. We'll go down a little bit further. Week 16, this is when your case study assignment is due. Okay. Week 17, this is when your extra credit assignment is due. So hopefully that kind of giving you that visual helps you understand how these are kind of broken up into weekly modules. But I want to take you to the actual page. So we're going to take just a minute and go over that. So you can see here's the spring of 2020. Here's the course. It's got some information about me, a couple of cool videos, a picture, and then a link to move forward. This is the home page. So when you log in, this is what you'll look at. But when we go to the modules, and this is what I want to show you, Now your view may be a little bit different because I have the instructor view and you have the student view. But here's the module. So if you're looking at it in the modular view, you have online counseling. You have the home page. Here's information on the Criminal Justice Club, and it's all in here, so you click here. I've got some cool websites if you're interested in any of these. They're pretty cool to watch or to go to. I've got the Bill of Rights. So here's a video on the history of the Bill of Rights, and then I have the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution. These are all little 8 to 10 minute videos that I suggest you watch because it's really important that you understand the Bill of Rights. Here I've got a module on some important Supreme Court cases. Here I have a module on different court systems like state court and district court and appellate court and the United States Supreme Court, so you can watch those. I have some important information for you to read, so you can go here. Here's the academic calendar. Here's a video on how to use Canvas. Remember I told you the midterm essay has its own separate little module. Here's the information on the essay. Here's the video on how to write in APA and how to do your citations and your reference page. If you don't want to hear me talk, here's the same thing with just the slides. Here's the writing rubric, and here's how to upload your paper. Here's the information on your extra credit assignment. Here's the information on your case study. Now let's look at week 1. We looked at it on paper in the syllabus, but this is what it looks like in the module. So every week has an introduction, so make sure you click on that and read the intro. It might have an article, it might have a video. Here's the syllabus review. This is what we're doing right now. It's the video lecture, if you will, and everything is closed caption should you need it or want it. Okay, it's available. Here are your 2 assignments for this week 1 module. You have the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. And if you again, these are available when you go through, you'll see the quiz in there. Week 2, here's the introduction to chapter 1. Here's some key terms. So it's a list of definitions. Here's the PowerPoint lecture. So if you don't want to hear me talk, you can just look at this. Here's the video lecture, which is what we're doing kind of right now. Here are your graded assignments, and I apologize for the phone ringing in the background, but we're going to just work right through it. Here is the key terms matching exercise. You can take this as many times as you want, and it covers the key terms. This is the chapter 1 quiz, and this is the discussion question. So now let's go to the next week. Same modular format. You can see it's got the intro to chapter 2, key terms, PowerPoint, video lecture, your assignments. And remember, the matching assessment, it's not worth any points because it's practice, if that makes sense, okay? So hopefully all of that kind of makes sense. Now let's go down a little bit further. Let's go down to the chapter where we had like the extra exam. So here's week 6. We have the intro to chapter 5, the key terms, the PowerPoint, the video lecture. Remember, you have the matching exercise, the assessment. Then we have the quiz, your first chapter exam, and your discussion question. And it looks the same way all the way down. So in the assignments area, this is, everything's important, but it breaks it up even. This is the stuff that you'll study or view. This is the stuff that you have to do. Does that kind of make sense to everybody? So I'm hoping that that helps you. And then finally, again, we have an area in the discussion area. I can click there really quick. I think it's up and available. You might be able to see it where the discussions are at. These are where all your discussions are listed. And we have an area here, and you'll see it, it'll look a little different, but it's called the donut shop. And this is your general discussion board posting area where you can post a question, etc. All right, so that really wraps up our syllabus review. And again, this was, I'm looking forward to learning with all of you. It's going to be a great semester. We're going to have a lot of fun. I will communicate with you often. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email or post them in the general discussion board area. And with that being said, that will conclude our video review on the syllabus for AJ102, Introduction to Criminal Justice Online. So until we talk again.